25th anniversary, Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1. We're seeing it today. This is a historic event to witness again one of the all-time classic greatest films ever produced by one of the greatest directors and producers ever on the screen. I dare say one of the greatest Americans ever. George Lucas. 25th anniversary, The Phantom Menace, an all-time epic masterpiece. 10 out of 10, baby. Mr. of the Prequels presents the Prequels. And we are together again talking about Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Written and directed by George Lucas. An all-time epic masterpiece. And I want to say this again. I am not hating on anybody. I'm not a hater. And I'm not trash-talking anybody that made any of these other movies. But let's be clear about this. There has been no awakening. You know it, and I know it. Yeah, there's been no awakening. So, if, you might watch it. Just look at it. Look at this. Look, J.J. Abrams is a clown. Yeah, look, and I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just saying he's a clown. And look at the movies. Just look at this. Look, and I'm not saying that he's not a good director. Hey, look, he knows movies. He knows how to direct, and he knows how to tell a story. But there has been no awakening. No, there's not been an awakening. Just look at it. He's a clown. Look at this trailer. And he's sitting there, and there's a bird tapping a log. And I'm supposed to think, oh, this movie's going to be great. Well, I thought it was going to be great. And then I went to see it, and it wasn't great. And I realized there has been no awakening. There has been no awakening. And if you think there's been an awakening, fine. Hey, look, man, good for you. No. Objectively even speaking, there's been no awakening. Now, speaking of objectively, speaking of a masterpiece, the Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, written and directed by George Lucas, an all-time epic masterpiece. Yeah, an all-time epic masterpiece. George Lucas, one of the greatest human beings ever to live, and not to mention one of the greatest Americans ever. A fine American, in my opinion. And here now look, get the kids out of the room. And remember, this is not all ages. This is at least 17 and over. Or whatever it is, PG-13. But let me just tell you this right now. Patton Oswalt is a weirdo. An all-time weirdo. Yeah, look at him, listen to him. Look, and I'm just talking about the jokes he tells. This joke, he's got one thing he told. Look, and I'm going to call it a joke. He called it a joke. Somebody called it a joke. But I don't see what's funny about it. Where he said, now look, I'm not going to go on and quote verbatim, but I am going to say this. He said, now look it up. Patton Oswalt tells a joke about George Lucas. Oh, I think he told this joke back in about 2007. But look it up. And you all know who he is. Yeah, look it up. Yeah, look it up. Patton Oswalt is an all-time weirdo. Yeah, look it up. Look, and I'm not a hater. But I will say this. If you think this kind of stuff is funny, you're sick, man. Look, and if you think this is funny, great. Hey, I'm not even saying good for you, because this is just sick. And this is the kind of stuff that Patton Oswalt is telling, talking about, laughing about. Oh, yeah, ha-ha, really funny. So he said, Well, about 2007, he goes back here and tells this joke, right? Look it up. And he says, well, if I had a time machine. Oh, because he says, oh, I'm such a geek. Oh, I'm really into comic books, you know, and I'm such a nerd and a geek and blah, 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 and all this stuff. Yeah, right. And then he says, and if I had a time machine, oh, I love history. And he says, oh, if I had a time machine, and Patton Oswalt, you know, he said, I'd go back in time, and he said, I'd kill George Lucas with a shovel. Yeah, I just want you to think about that for a second. Just let that part of it sink in, because he's not done. He said, if I had a time machine, Patton Oswalt said this. Now listen to me. Let this sink in. You don't see any, there's nothing here this isn't hyperbole. This is what he said. He said, if I had a time machine, now this is what he said. Patton Oswalt said this. He said he'd go back in time. He said, I would go back in time and I would kill, he said probably to about 1993 or 94. And he said, I would kill George Lucas with a shovel. Yeah, ha ha. Yeah, everybody laughs. And I don't know if anybody was there or if it was like one of those Jim Gaffigan things where they put it in later like there's somebody there, but you wonder if anybody was even there. I don't know who was laughing at that. I don't know who thinks that's funny, or who thought that was funny. I don't think it's funny. You want to go back in time and you want to kill George Lucas with a shovel. Let me just analyze this just for a second. You want to kill George Lucas. All right. Or you want to go back in time and you want to kill somebody. All right, who are you going to kill? Who do you want to kill? Joseph Stalin. Nope. Adolf Hitler. Nope, not that guy. Benito Mussolini. Well, then who? Oh, you're going to kill Leonardo da Vinci? Oh, you're going to kill Jonas Salk. Yeah, right. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Hey, while you're at it, why don't you kill another great artist like Sidney Poitier? Yeah. Or better yet, why don't you just go back in time and kill George Lucas with a shovel? Yeah. Yeah, look, man, if you think that's funny, ha ha, yeah, not funny. That's sick, man. Yeah, if you think that kind of stuff is funny, you're sick. Patton Oswalt, you're sick, dude. What kind of a sicko talks like that? You want to go back in time and you want to kill George Lucas with a shovel? And also to keep him from making the prequels. Oh, and that's the whole point. You want to go back and you want to commit murder with a shovel. One of the greatest human beings that ever lived gave away his billion-dollar fortune, half of his wealth, to at least half, to education and to help the world. Yeah, what have you given away? Weirdo. No, again, I'm not saying you're a bad person. And look, that's not what I'm saying. This message is directly going out to you, Patton Oswalt. I say this. Why don't you rejoin the human race? Yeah, and just own up to this and own up to this thing that you've done, you've told, you've said. Look, man, you said it. I'm not saying that it should have been said or shouldn't have been said, and I'm not into censorship. What I'm into is, now that you've said it, now that it's been done, now that you're making your millions or doing whatever it is that you do off of that, now let's talk about that. Do you think that was an appropriate joke to tell? Not even that. Just what if I just said, oh, here's one for you. Now look, I'm just going to put another scenario out there for you because I just want to tell you how this sounds to his family, and also to George Lucas. Do you think George Lucas wants to wake up and think, oh, people are laughing about you want to go back in time and kill him with a shovel to keep him from making one of the things that I love, It's a piece of art. It's a beautiful story. And he loved it, and he put his heart and soul into it. And you said you wanted to go back in time and you wanted to kill George Lucas with a shovel because you didn't like Jar Jar Binks. Man, you're sick, man. You are a sicko. Yeah. So here's one for you. Oh, I got one for you. Oh, yeah, to keep him from making the prequels. And then you went on, you trash talk the prequels. You trash talk George Lucas. You trash talk all of it. Oh, yeah, I got the tapes, man. Go back and look and see what you said. I know what you said. I got the tapes. The tapes. Man, you need to go back and watch the tapes. Yeah, you need to watch the tapes, man. Go back and watch these tapes. Patton Oswalt tells a joke about George Lucas where he says he wants to go back in time and he wants to kill George Lucas with a shovel to keep him from making the prequels. Ha! Ha! Yeah, not funny. Not funny. Yeah, so if you think that kind of stuff is funny, hey, good for you, man. But not really, because you're sick. Or maybe, look, maybe you just don't know any better. But whatever it is, you're going to have to be the one to decide if you think that's funny or not. And maybe you think it's funny and you didn't realize what the joke was about and it sounded funny, but then you went back and you analyzed it and you realized that, man, whoever would write a joke like that, man, they're sick. And Patton Oswalt is a sicko if he thinks that kind of stuff is funny, because I've never heard of retraction. I've never seen another video where he went on television. Oh, I did see where he went on television and he said, "Oh, these new movies are so badass." Yeah, there's been no awakening, Patton Oswalt, and you're a weirdo and you're a sicko. And fine, look, and I'm not saying, I'm not for censorship of jokes or anything like that. I'm not saying that certain jokes should be off limits. I'm saying, look, if you think it's funny, own it. Own it. Because I don't think that stuff is funny. And I don't think deep down in your heart you think that's funny. So if you want to talk about it, I'm not asking you to get my permission to tell any joke, and I'm not asking you to say you're sorry to me. You don't owe me anything. But I would say this. If you think it's funny to go back in time and kill George Lucas, first of all, if you want to do that, man, that's one thing. But then if you want to go up and you want to make a lot of money laughing about it and making jokes about going back in time and killing George Lucas with a shovel, man, you're sick. You are a sicko. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, hey, look, man, if you think that stuff's funny, then you got a problem. Well, that's it. That's all the time we have for today, dear friends. And until we meet again, I will leave you with these wise and powerful words spoken by the wise and powerful Jedi, Qui-gon Jinn, as he spoke these words to Anakin Skywalker as they were about to leave Coruscant for the planet of Naboo. And you remember the whole scene. And he said to Anakin, he said, "Remember, your focus determines your reality. And may the Force be with us."